Welcome to AIM Products for Nutrition That Works with AIM biologist and quality assurance manager, Philip German.
Welcome to today's program. Today we're going to be focusing on Peak Endurance. Peak Endurance is a product that many of you may know. Some of you may think of it as a electrolyte drink mix that's provided by AIM, but it's really more than that. We compare this product to Gatorade or some of these other products on the market. It's really more than that. I think we miss the boat if we're only comparing it to, say, a Gatorade or some kind of electrolyte drink, because it does have electrolytes, and it's really great for after a workout or preparing for a workout, but that's only part of it. We've also got B vitamins in this product, again, but that's only just a small portion of what the product can do for us. You know, when we're talking about Peak Endurance, what we're really talking about is adenosine triphosphate. We're talking about ATP, specifically peak ATP. This is an ingredient that we buy that they've been pouring money into the research, into the clinical trials, showing all the benefits associated with adenosine triphosphate. So let's kind of take a step back. We're talking about this ingredient. Well, what is it? ATP is essentially what our bodies use for energy. So in each of our cells, we have these little organs inside the cell. They're called organelles. And one of those organelles is called mitochondria, okay? We can think of this mitochondria as like it produces all the energy for the cell. And what's happening in the mitochondria is the production of ATP. All the time it's generating this power, this ATP, this energy. So this is what our body uses to complete all the functions that's within the body. Anything that moves or thinks or anything, it all requires ATP. So why do we need to supplement it if our body's making ATP? Well, as we age, our ability to produce ATP actually declines, and declines very sharply over time. So we're seeing this huge drop-off between age, let's say 25 and age 70, this huge decline in ATP production by the body. Well, kind of makes sense. I mean, as we age, we're not as energetic. We don't do as many things. It's hard. And part of that is the lack of ATP. So if we can supplement that, if we can supplement the ATP in our body, that's going to improve the way our body functions. It's going to improve our energy and stamina, but it's not going to have that effect like caffeine. Caffeine has that like wake you up, get you kind of stimulated, and you kind of got the little bit of the shakes. ATP doesn't do that. It's naturally occurring in the body. The body knows how to handle ATP. The body knows what to do with ATP. So once we start supplementing it, we're going to be functioning more properly as a human being. And that's kind of the background behind ATP. So we know we need this. We know we need it for everyday functions. It's really important if we're doing any kind of exercise or sports. If you've got an athlete in the house, that's where these products can really take shape and really benefit. So I mentioned earlier a little bit about peak ATP. So this is branded adenosine triphosphate, this branded ATP that we use in Peak Endurance. And there's been a lot of clinical information that's been just really poured into this. And what they're finding, they're creating these statistics coming back from these studies that are just unbelievable. So if you can imagine, I'm going to read off a few of these increases that have occurred or that they've seen in these clinical studies. So one study actually found that there was an increase by the participants in total strength of 147%. Okay, let's just think about this just for a minute. The people that took peak ATP found in Peak Endurance increased their strength by 147% just by adding this to their diet. I mean, that's an unbelievable increase in strength. When you think about it, if I could move 47% more weight than I did the day before or maybe a few weeks before, that's crazy. That's unbelievable. Another one is increase the vertical jump power by 30%. Well, you might say, well, Phil, I don't need to vertically jump 30% higher. Maybe not. Maybe you do. Maybe there's something you need to jump really high for, but it's the power needed to jump that high. So this could come into play just standing up, using those squatting muscles that we would use to jump. say, sitting up after being like in a desk chair for a long amount of time, increasing that power that you have to get up can really transfer into less back pain and things like that. So it's not just vertical power and jumping, it can relate to other things. Another one was an increase in lean body mass by 100%. How about this one? Increase in muscle thickness by 96%. So we're increasing muscle thickness. Well, that can be applicable to a bodybuilder, something like that. Somebody who's really wanting to build a lot of muscle. But let's think about this more widely. Muscle thickness. Now, as we age, our muscle mass tends to decrease over time, right? Sarcopenia, things like this. So if we can increase our muscle thickness by 96%, this is huge. Because that means is that we can maintain muscle mass longer later into life, which translates to less broken bones, less broken hips maybe, more activity. It compounds, it gets bigger and better. So we really need to kind of look at this, not only what this study provides, but kind of forecast a little bit beyond that. What else does it show us? So those are just some of the things that they have found in this, and this is all related to taking 400 milligrams of peak ATP daily. So when you look at the Peak Endurance formula, Peak Endurance contains 200 milligrams per serving, recommended twice per day. That's going to get you your 400 milligrams of ATP from peak ATP daily. So that puts you right into the dosages that were used in these studies. So when you start taking Peak Endurance twice a day, you're going to see some of the benefits shown within these clinical studies. One of the other things that I think is really key, especially for a lot of our members and a lot of people in general, is in one study, they actually found an increase in recovery and reduce in pain within the study. So they actually looked at people that were having knee surgery, which knee surgery is becoming more and more common these days. I have a friend that just had 2 knee surgeries, okay? And what they're finding is they're recovering faster from these injuries and these surgeries, and the pain that they're experiencing is actually decreasing as well, specifically with these knee surgeries. So when we're talking about Peak Endurance, again, we're not talking about just an electrolyte drink or not just a B vitamin drink. We're talking about so much more than that. We're talking about a non-stimulant energy drink that is just so much more, and it's applicable to so many more people than we might originally thought. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining me today on today's program. Had a great time. Thank you.
The statements made herein have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration or other regulatory agencies. AIM products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Any testimonials should not be construed as representing results everyone can achieve. You've been listening to AIM Products for Nutrition That Works. Please join us again.